I'm going to talk about consumer data and consumer data privacy today. The beacon of consumer data privacy has never been louder than what we have seen in recent times. Consumers have started to go wary of logging into their applications through social media. Accepting cookies on websites have become more of an exception than a norm. We think twice before sharing our, email IDs and phone numbers on any web or mobile applications. We would rather log in as guests and, keep filling details each time. This demonization of data security has been really fueled by how we have been made aware of such notorious political campaigns. The curious case of Cambridge Analytica during Trump's victory in 2016 was probably the most followed case of data fraud and data manipulation in recent history. The fact that Facebook was also dragged into this muddle actually made this issue extremely acrimonious. People felt cheated. There are more than dozens of documentaries around the world, talking about how government agencies, private corporations, and even ambitious politicians are misusing our data and monitoring and manipulating our behavior. Having said this, my intention to talk about this topic today is to help us pragmatically analyze this issue. We must try to understand data and its impact on us. For us to find out our own interpretations of its use and misuse. We're going to talk about three things: data, its usage, and how it actually impacts us. Let's talk about each of these elements individually now. Let's talk about data first. We're talking about five different forms of data: personal information, sensitive personal information, socioeconomic characters, user personality, and our consumption pattern. Let's start with the first one: personal information. Things like name, phone number, email IDs, so on and so forth. Typically, such data is gathered through form-based applications you may have filled while, let's say, checking out discovery sites for insurance, cars, education, so on and so forth. The next thing that we should talk about is sensitive personal information. Your Aadhaar card ID, your passport numbers, your car registrations, your bank transactions, so on and so forth. In general, it is difficult to get hold of such data given the tightened cybersecurity norms in India. However, we have to assume that at least the government agencies do have access to this information of ours. The third thing we are talking about is socioeconomic characters. Demographical characteristics like age, sex, marital status, urban, rural, your education or income levels are part of this data set. Such data is often an estimate or sometimes derived from your personal information that you may have actually provided. The fourth thing that we're talking about is user personality. All our interactions on social media, our Google searches, our e-commerce history, the websites that we visit, help data, monitoring in terms of putting us under a certain bucket of personality usage. For example, uh, are you a compulsive buyer? Do you have emotional outbursts on social media? Do you search for exotic travel? What do you do in your free time? So on and so forth are the kind of examples of behavioral information that actually get captured. The last part of data that we are talking about is something called consumption pattern. The types of songs you hear, the kind of movies, the kind of TV serials that you watch, the kind of food you eat, the places that you travel, so on and so forth. This is a very, very transactional data, which is sometimes we generate almost unconsciously while actually consuming these services, and we actually have no control onto who accesses this information because we're kind of all anyways using these services. The second element beyond data is something called usage, and we're going to talk about five different forms of usage. The first one is called direct marketing. The next is called targeted advertising. The third is targeted messaging or content sharing. Fourth is personalized experience. And the fifth one is called cyber monitoring. Let's talk about direct marketing. Your personal contact details are used to directly reach out to you. telemarketing, SMS marketing, email marketing, WhatsApp marketing are few examples of how this data can be used to reach out to you. The second thing that we're talking about is something called targeted advertising. We talked about, demographics, we talked about your behavior. This sort of data is captured, and, depending on your personality types of your demographic data, you can be targeted with specific ads of products and services which you may be assumed to need, if not right away, perhaps in some time in future. The third thing we are talking about is targeted messaging or targeted content. Political agendas, corporate messages, or even, choice of creation depending on your personality type is sort of pushed across. Essentially, your tendency to believe in certain messaging type or your inclination towards a certain type of visual, violent, pet love, celebrity influence, so on and so forth, are used to bring home a specific point. The case about Cambridge Analytica is probably a perfect example of how targeted messaging or content was utilized. Fourth, and extremely interesting, is personalized experience. Based on your consumption pattern data, a new set of content or any new product is presented to you. We also call it as upselling and cross-selling. Next time when you come across, a movie recommendation on Netflix, this is exactly what's actually happening with you. Uh, Cross-selling of data or cross-selling of product is something that is intensively used when you are, shopping on e-commerce sites. Last, but definitely something that we need to be careful of, is something called cyber monitoring. Keeping a tab on your financial activity, your sociological behavior in order to prevent any frauds or extreme terrorist activities come under this paradigm of data usage. We've talked about data. We have talked about its usage. Now let's talk about the most important part of it, is the impact. Each usage that we talked about may actually lead to different degree of impact on your lives. Sometimes a single usage may result in different degree of impacts depending on what product or what service or what messaging we are talking about. There are five types of impacts that can happen to you. First one is something called interruptions and disturbances. Constant cold calling, over usage of rather Facebook ads that spoil your social media experience, unnecessary cluttering your e-commerce experience are some examples of the same. Second is something called financial loss. Leaking of your personal sensitive information may result in severe financial frauds. Credit cards, the other bank related information are subjected to such risks. Third is something called bias and manipulations. With targeted content, especially around sensitive geopolitical issues, with other corporate agendas, the intent is to manipulate your viewpoint on these issues. Bias and polarization often result in us taking decisions which, in normal circumstances, we may not have taken. Fourth is something called easier discovery, making our lives easy. Understanding our preferences obviously help us provide more personalized recommendations of content and other services. This often helps us discover relevant products amongst a plethora of offerings. It reduces our stress and time in discovering. Imagine there was no recommendation feature on Netflix and you had to go through thousands and thousands of videos to finally come down to what you wanted to watch. Good luck with that, by the way. So this is a positive impact in that way. Fifth is something very interesting, purchase impulse. Often, your buying data and consumption pattern can be used to upsell or cross sell other products to you. This may not seem harmful, by the way, but it sometimes results in impulse purchases, which you often regret later. E commerce and VOD platforms are most guilty of actually exploiting this attribute. Uh, you know, this is something that you can actually attribute to increasing your discretionary spend and may eventually lead to some sort of financial loss as well. Last but definitely not the least is something called enforcement. Any sort of crime and fraud prevention based insights from our behavior and financial data kind of falls under this impact. Principally, enforcement is supposed to be a good thing. However, it is quite vulnerable to misuse and gross violation of an individual or even their sovereign privacy. So these are few things that we should keep in mind, uh, looking at all the three aspects: data, usage, and its eventual impact on us. Bottom line, guys, data privacy violation is here to stay, and it's an unfortunate yet unavoidable byproduct of connected world that we live in. It is up to us to understand individual impacts and hence choose a more appropriate reaction to it. I hope this helps you give some perspective around data and its impact on our lives. Thank you very much.